What's happening, everybody? It's Nate and Joe's show. Welcome back to SpearFandom.com. Weekly show that we just talk bullshit. We are not at the Down and Out today, actually.
We're doing this on the internet.
We are
by ourselves, and I think it's pretty rad.
We're working out some technology today. This is good stuff. Today is just Joe and I. We are not joined by our good friends Jarrett and Mike, but we're gonna work this out. We got a lot to talk about. Got a good show for you tonight. I think Joe, we have to start with what Boston has done over the last few days rather, with taking two of our guys. I think the bigger move is your guy. The bigger slap in the face to the city would be your guy, Panda, Pablo Sandoval. How's that make you feel?
I mean, not very good, to be honest with you. I was really sad for the first couple days. Like that was the mood that I was in. I don't have any ill will toward Panda. I don't think it was a money issue. I don't even really have much ill will or frustration toward our front office.
Okay, you touched on that when we talked about this earlier, that you said that you didn't think it was a money issue. First and foremost, baseball, no matter what you think or where or what situation you think is going on, baseball is always a money issue. Always. It doles out the biggest contracts on the planet next to European soccer, for God's sakes. It's always a money issue. Guys in the majors want to get paid, and your guys didn't even try. I mean, they could have matched for a guy like Pablo Sandoval, who's got 3 rings with them in the last 5 years. Your guys could have at least matched what Boston was trying to sling, and then put it in his court. If Pablo goes to Boston, then it's like, all right, well, he's just kind of telling us to fuck off. But first, when you say it's not a money issue, when you say money was not involved, I can't get behind that. It's baseball. Money is, and he's Dominican. Money is always.
He's from Venezuela, but carry on.
Okay, he's from Venezuela. My point is, money is an issue. It's going to be an issue. It's always going to be an issue. And your guys didn't even. I mean, $100 million they offered. You said, I thought it was 90. You said 95. You can't go $5 more million to see if Pablo would stay. Hell, they've made $100 million off his hats. Those ridiculous Panda hats alone.
Yeah, look, I mean, I wasn't privy to the conversation. I wasn't in the room or anything like that to know what really happened.
I figured they didn't let you sit in.
No, I wish they did. I really do. Like, because I don't think the money was the predominant factor in the whole ordeal. But you know, I would love to be able to confirm that. You know what I mean? And I think the same amount of money, like basically it was the same amount of money that was offered within a couple dollars here and there. And I think, or at least what was said by our front office and also kind of echoed by Pablo Sandoval and some of his representation, was he wanted a new challenge. And no matter what Pablo did, no matter what deal he signed with the Giants, I don't think that there's nothing that he could do in the period of time of his next deal that would, you know, be considered a success compared to what he accomplished in the previous 5 years. Hello? Are you there?
So you're saying he was bored in San Francisco is what you're saying?
No, I mean,
you think he was bored in San Francisco?
Essentially, I mean, I think.
Yeah, he like, you know, he just had, like, there's no loyalty on either side there. But, you know, that's amazing to me. An organization that trusted Pablo, like, he's been with them a very long time. He's put up some good numbers for them. Hell, he's been their most clutch hitter in the postseason. Next to Buster Posey, uh, and he's bored. I can't get behind that. I don't.
I think he wanted a new challenge, and when you look at it, like you mentioned it before, like you mentioned Pablo's from Venezuela. Like I think Big Papi recruited him. I think he I think he might have wanted to go and play with Hanley and Rusney Castillo and kind of be um a flagship guy, if you will, on a new like Latino superpower kind of a team. I think Pablo is a larger than life star, especially in his home country of Venezuela, and I think that it's a cool new challenge for him.
I was going to call you on a larger than life star in his home country, not
Yeah. In Venezuela. No. I'm talking about in Central America. I think Pablo is that guy. Just very much like David Ortiz is in the Dominican Republic. Like, David Ortiz is a star here, sure, and he's a star in Boston, obviously bigger. But in the Dominican, like, that guy's a god. You know what I mean? And the other thing, too, the other thing, too, that I think bears some discussion, and this also doesn't shine very well on the Giants, is Pablo and his representation have said in the past that they've felt disrespected by the Giants. And I think a prime example of that is this past spring training, like basically a year ago now. Pablo was offered a 3-year, $40 million deal by the Giants, and that obviously got turned down, and he waited a year and essentially doubled his money, plus a little bit. And not only that, but when you look at the way that this Giants organization has kind of handled guys going to free agency, Hunter Pence never got to free agency. Buster Posey, Madison Bumgarner, Matt Cain,
you don't have the issues with those guys you just mentioned, like the issues you have with Pablo. And whenever spring started, you were the first to tell me this, that Pablo came in like 20 pounds overweight, that he looked like just a giant donut-eating man beast, and you were concerned, and the whole organization was concerned.
No, exactly, and that's why I think a deal didn't get reached then. I mean, obviously, if you look back in hindsight, the right thing to do would have been to offer Pablo something in the area of, $75 million for 5 years or whatever. In hindsight, that's absolutely the thing to do. But in at the time, like, Pablo was coming off missing 3 months of last season with two broken hands. He was coming in overweight, and honestly, like, he got burned a little bit, or our front office got burned a little bit by not getting that deal done, and ultimately, I think that's what led to him going to Boston. And furthermore, on that issue, I was watching a movie they made on David Ortiz, and it kind of went through like his professional baseball life cycle and some of the contracts that he signed. And David Ortiz actually was in a very similar situation with the Minnesota Twins, where he actually broke the same bone in his hand and didn't get re-signed by Minnesota, and ultimately got released and went to Boston, had a good year. Then when he was up for another contract, they actually gave it to him a year early, and Ben Carrington was actually quoted in this movie that I was talking about by basically saying that, like, David Ortiz is a special player that bears some special treatment with some kind of this stuff. And I think the Giants, like, organizationally, not just with Pablo, make like a steadfast, it's like a what do you call it? Like a steadfast policy that they just don't negotiate contracts during the season. And I think that, like, throughout that process, they just kind of got burned a little bit. And you take the fact that Pablo and his representation felt the way they felt, the success that they had in San Francisco that quite honestly won't be duplicated, and the opportunity to go to Boston, one of one of the biggest, most famous organizations in professional sports, period, and to play with a hero of his and David Ortiz on a somewhat of what's looking like is becoming a Latino super team. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't fault the guy for doing that. Like you know what I mean? Like and like the last thing that I think had anything to do with it was like a couple extra dollars for Pablo. Like I really just don't believe that like he didn't come to San Francisco over a
I'm
couple
not
dollars.
saying it was
Like,
100% money driven. I'm not saying that, and I know you're right. I know that it was not 100% money driven. There were other factors involved. But do you see my point? If you're the Giants organization, if I was a fan of the San Francisco Giants and I saw this happen, and I saw the fact that my front office didn't even bother to offer a matching offer of the Boston Red Sox and let him choose, I'd be a little bent. I'd be a little pissed.
yeah, I mean, I understand.
That-
I understand what you're saying, and I'm sure that a lot of
like
yo,
a few $1 million. I mean, that's nothing. So that's my point. I know, obviously, I think there were other factors involved, but as an organization, don't you at least try to keep that guy? I mean, to me, looking at the number they offered him and looking at all the factors involved, it doesn't even look like they tried. I don't know. And I can't blame the guy for leaving. I really can't.
yeah, I mean, I certainly don't blame him, but I also don't think that the Giants organization didn't try. I mean, I think they made I think they went after this with kind of a concerted strategy, if you will, or a plan of action, and they got burned or out hustled.
What's the plan of action? If he really wants to stay with us, he'll stay for less money. That's the plan of action. This is baseball. This is it's you don't mess with guys' pocketbooks, especially like a staple of a certain city that you play in. Pablo to San Francisco, Kershaw to Los Angeles. You think that whenever Kershaw's contract came up, if the Yankees offered Kershaw $325 million, like Giancarlo Stanton got for the Marlins, you honestly don't think that the Dodgers organization would have at least tried to match that, as opposed to just letting him walk away? I mean, that's my point. Like because Kershaw is a staple of LA. Like, and if he left, it would break all of our hearts. And to me, it's the same way with Pablo to San Francisco. He's been with that organization a long time. He's done a lot for that organization. He's, he's coming to camp overweight, and I've given him hell, and every Giant or every Dodger fan has given him hell and made fun and poked fun and had fun with him. But in the end, the dude has produced in the postseason and through most of the seasons that he's played, and gotten 3 rings with him. So you have to show the guy some respect, at least by matching a contract, especially if it's not that big of a contract. I mean, $100 million for 5 years. That's not that. I mean, that's not huge. That's not out of control for the majors. So you have to match that contract. Am I wrong?
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I think you're right, and I don't think, and from all the quotes that I heard from the Giants front office, like, I'm not left to believe that the conversation wasn't something of the matter of, like, I'm taking this offer, like being Pablo Sandoval saying something to the effect of, hey, I'm taking this offer from Boston, and Bobby Evans saying, I will match it penny for penny, like, would you stay? And Pablo and his camp saying, no, I'd rather go to Boston if all things are equal. Like, I mean, there's, I don't know that that's not how the conversation didn't play out. You know what I mean? Ultimately, like, or like if it was, or furthermore, if Pablo was just like, look, I need you to come up and hit like 105 or 110 or whatever the number might be, like, like from all the accounts that I've heard, and specifically one that came in Monday morning, like before the deal got signed, like the Bobby Evans, the Giants' assistant general manager, straight up said that like they weren't maxed out. You know what I mean? And if it came down to like needing to get a couple more dollars, like a couple more dollars would be there. So I can't just put this all on the fact that they got outbid. What I think would have helped would have been to put a more aggressive offer out this time last year and show him a little bit extra respect and maybe pick up Pablo Sandoval a little bit when he was down a little bit. And I think that would have got it done, and it would have got it done cheaper for everybody. But unfortunately, the Giants didn't make that play, and they got out hustled a little bit. And when you get recruited by your hero, like, I mean, that's cool for Pablo. Like, I was sad, like, as a fan, like, I felt dumped. You know what I mean? I felt like I got broken up with, but I'm not mad at him for doing what he did. Like, I mean, that's a cool move for Pab. You know what I mean? Fuck, he didn't go to the Dodgers. He didn't pull a fucking Juan Uribe. Yeah, you know what I mean? He didn't pull a Brian Wilson.
Well, Uribe was never. I mean, he was never. He was with you guys for how many seasons?
3 seasons.
2?
3
seasons. So it wasn't like he was. I mean,
8, 9, and 10, and he got a ring. But no, like
absolutely.
You gotta understand something.
But it wasn't a lifer giant. Like, that's my point. Like, you've got.
Well, I mean, his dad was.
I get that. That's fine. But you have journeymen in the majors. You know this, Joe.
Yeah.
You have guys that have played in 20 different ball clubs, for God's sakes. You can take your Juan Pierres and your oh Christ, whatever. I mean, there's 1,000 of them, but there's guys that and they have, most of them have rings. A lot of them do, because they're rentals for the push of the postseason, for God's sakes. But there's guys that are staples for clubs. The clubs bring them up, and if they produce throughout their career, through the highs and the lows, the clubs back them and take care of them. And I don't think
sure.
I don't think your club take care of Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately neither does Pablo, because I really think that that's why he left, not over a couple dollars. I think that our front office probably didn't take as good care of him as maybe we should have. You know what I mean? Instead of giving him a deal and saying, like, look, we're going to give you a deal to work through it, we said, hey, bro, you're fat, and, like, don't get fat, and then we'll give you a deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of fucked up. Like, I get it. Like, I understand. Like, we're saying the same thing here. I don't know. Like, it happened. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like.
All right. That being said, let's move to the other piece of that puzzle, and Hanley Ramirez. And it's this one.
I don't really understand this. I just don't understand it.
Isn't going to garner near as much topic of conversation as Pablo, but they gave Hanley 4 years for, I forget the dollar amount.
The dollar amount was $88 million.
$88 million for 4 years. And anybody who follows baseball knows that Hanley Ramirez, when he's not happy, is a giant stick in the mud. The dude sucks, and he pitches fits and pisses everybody off in the clubhouse. He was a good Dodger, but there was touchy moments with him and Mattingly at one point. But all in all, he liked being a Dodger. But he's a prima donna. He won't he made damn clear in Miami that he was a shortstop, even though he's a terrible shortstop. Even in his prime as a shortstop, he wasn't a very good shortstop. He's always had a bat. His bat's been what's carried him through the majors. But whenever Marlins put him at third base, he more than pitched a fit. He damn near lost a handful of games for him just because he didn't give a shit and gave up. That being said, the Bo Sox
Did he really give up? Like, do you think Hanley Ramirez gave up defensively?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Those games in
Wow.
Miami, 100%. Do you not remember the infamous play where he jogged for a ball down the third baseline? Like he booted
No,
it.
I don't. I really don't remember it.
Oh, it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And he got pulled. He was due up at bat next inning. He got pinch hit sat that game, and sat 2 more games because of it.
Wow, no shit.
The ball got through his legs, and he, with a smile on his face, turned around and jogged for it. Meanwhile, dude is just rounding the bases, it's a triple. Like, because Hanley Ramirez jogs for the ball, picks it up smiling the whole time. It was incredible. Yeah, no, when I say he gave up defensively, he gave up defensively. Like, he didn't give a shit. He's like, yeah, I'm a shortstop. I'm not a third baseman. And it was embarrassing. It was insulting to the organization. Like, it was insulting to all of his teammates, insulting to his coach. It was terrible. That's what I was worried about when he became a Dodger. When he became a Dodger, a good clubhouse guy. He was good with, Juan Uribe. He and Juan Uribe went after each other. It was fun. And when Yasiel came over, there was enough personalities in that locker room to keep Hanley happy. And they only brought it up one time that maybe him play third base, and he shot it down immediately. And they're like, oh, shot, okay. That being said, both Sox want to move him to left field. That is the biggest head scratcher to me. If they thought that Carl Crawford was a bad left fielder for them, I have a news flash for him. This is going to be an absolute debacle of a situation. The first, I'm sure he's like probably going in saying whatever, I'm here for the team. I'll do whatever. At this point in my career, I just want the job. I'm happy to produce. I'm happy to play with these guys. The first few times he makes errors out there, he's going to start pouting. He's going to start bitching, and he's going to start bringing a lot of people down. And I guess it's going to fall on Papi and Pablo to set him straight and to pull him right, and I don't know if it's going to happen, because he's like, when Hanley is that big of a personality to where he can just sink or carry a club, and I don't know which one it's going to be in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Hello?
Yeah, you got me?
I don't know if you're still there or not.
No, I'm here. You were just talking for a while. I let you go off. Honestly, I don't really care to talk about Hanley Ramirez just because I've never liked the guy and I thought he was a prick. But, what am I trying to say here? As far as personalities go, I think that the Red Sox are going into this with open eyes, thinking that David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia can kind of like keep a leash on him. Like, I think it's clearly David Ortiz clubhouse. What's that?
Who knows? They might have struck gold, but I don't know. It remains to be seen.
I just think one thing that the Dodgers and the Marlins have never had was somebody that was like a clear leader in their clubhouse, and I think that might be good for somebody like Hanley. You know what I mean? To not be the guy, and like Pablo's there too. Like Pablo's got 3 rings, like coming off hot. You know what I mean? So there's guys that are legitimate leaders in that clubhouse, and I think it's set up in a way to, what am I trying to say? Like, kind of take less shit, if you will, from Hanley Ramirez. Like, the Dodgers kind of needed to take that shit because they needed him in the lineup playing 5th, every day. But I don't think, like, and that's the other thing that I think is pretty cool about this. I think the deal is still a classic overpay, but I don't think the Red Sox need Hanley Ramirez in the lineup every day. You know what I mean? And that's cool. Like, maybe he plays 95 games a year.
Everything I just said points to that, because if Hanley goes over there, he wants to play. He thinks he's the best bat in the lineup. He thinks he can produce every day. He thinks he's absolutely capable to play whatever position you put him at, but he's a shortstop. And whenever he starts making errors and becomes a liability in left field, and it's going to happen. He's going to. I mean, I don't know. The dude might have played outfield when he was a kid. I mean, who knows? But as far as I know, Hanley's always been an infielder. And at this point in his career, I mean, Michael Morris is a bad left fielder. Carl Crawford's a bad left fielder. Manny Ramirez was a bad left fielder. I think Hanley Ramirez might just put the icing on the cake as far as bad left fielders go. This might be. I might watch Boston games just to see Hanley make errors. Seriously.
Look, I mean, I think you're absolutely right about that. I've been taking a dump on Hanley Ramirez since, he came to L.A. Like, I thought it was a bad idea. Like, I wouldn't touch Hanley Ramirez with your dick. You know what I mean? Much less at a 4-year, $90 million deal. Like, I just have no interest in that. Like, it's probably a bad deal, but, I mean, they made it. Like, what? Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like,
they want that, obviously.
Yeah,
and if
I don't.
Stay healthy, which is a big if. Then he'll probably crush a ton of home runs. Fenway is a tiny park, so it's
yeah. It'll be interesting to see the Red Sox and what they do and how this kind of plays out going forward. I don't know what'll happen. Like I think this could go either way. They could either be really good or they could be like that Latino team that they tried to put together in Miami with Hanley and like Jose Reyes and like all the was it Jose Reyes? Who am I thinking? Like there were a lot of guys on that team that were all Latino
Hanley was a Dodger at that time. Hanley didn't play on that team.
Who did they put on that team? They brought Ozzie Guillen over to manage it. Like,
yeah, Ozzie Guillen was coach. Jose Reyes was the shortstop. Who all were the Latino? Yeah, like.
Didn't they? I think they had like a third baseman and then Toronto did something like that too. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass.
Toronto took all their everybody who went to Miami that year. Toronto just took all those guys.
Yeah. Like Melky Cabrera ended up on that team after his suspension. Like I don't know, man. Like I don't know how it's all gonna play out. It'll be interesting. I think Boston will either be really good or really bad, and it's gonna determine on who they have pitching.
All right. Well, that being said, let's move this along. We got to get into some college football. There's matchups that are happening this weekend that are. This is true rivalry weekend. Hell, we got the Iron Bowl. You got Alabama, Auburn. You've got Florida State. And even though I've had a lot of people tell me that I'm absolutely out of my mind, I still think Florida wins that game. I think Florida hands. The last time Florida State lost a game was in 2012 against the Gators, and I think the Gators end their win streak again this weekend. Ohio State, Michigan, no one really gives a shit about because Ohio State's just going to blow them out of the water. Michigan's so bad at this point. Brady Hoke is just destroyed.
How does he still have a job?
I don't know. I don't know how he wasn't fired 6 weeks ago. Like the guy, it's incredible how he still has a job. Everyone would rather see Michigan State, Ohio State, but instead, obviously, that's not the rivalry. You've also got UCLA, Stanford. We got USC, Notre Dame. I'm going to ask you this as a USC fan: if USC beats Notre Dame this weekend, does that make up for that blowout against UCLA?
Make up for it? No. I mean, USC has been a streaky team for the last couple of seasons, and I don't know if one win is gonna do anything for me one way or the other. What's gonna do something for me is consistency. If USC comes out for a few weeks in a row and plays defense and blows a couple teams out and really plays at the supreme talent level that they possess, then then I'll get excited about USC. But I don't think any one game right now can really make up for losing to UCLA. No.
Well, Notre Dame is. I mean, even though UCLA is the crosstown rival, I mean, I think at this point USC Notre Dame is probably the bigger rivalry of the two. Um, I mean, because the programs have gone back and forth for so many years. But I agree with you. I mean, that UCLA
Yeah.
game was just
I mean,
ass whipping.
yeah. I mean, sure. Look, it'll. I mean, what am I trying to say? Like, I already know that USC is good, and they're probably better than I want to get in an argument with you and defend. But I also know that they've been really inconsistent for the last couple seasons. And hold on, something happened.
What just happened?
No, it's cool. I don't know. I just want to make sure that we're still. Yeah, we're good. Sorry, technical difficulties, folks. But no, I think USC has been really inconsistent for a while, and I think that sure Notre Dame's a big game and it might make things feel better, and like what have you, but I don't. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it'll be. It'll be a Band-Aid. It won't necessarily be like, is things fixed? Like da 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 da. Like are they good? Are they not? Of course USC is good. They just play like shit, and they're inconsistent. You know what I mean? Like that's not are they good, and that's not something that you fix in like in like a week game, like in 1 week against your rival. Like.
Yeah. That being said, I want to go back to the Iron Bowl. The Iron Bowl, Alabama is favored by 9.5 points. I think everyone's written off Auburn for some reason right now because they lost those 2 games. Auburn's a good football team. Auburn could, I mean, obviously everyone remembers the epic Iron Bowl last year. Arguably the worst call in Nick Saban's coaching career to try after they've missed 2 field goals already. Let a freshman try and take a 62-yard field goal. That wasn't the best decision he's ever made in his life. And then Auburn runs it back for a touchdown to win the game, and in turn go to the national championship game. So obviously Alabama is looking for a bit of payback, and they're playing in Tuscaloosa. I think Alabama wins this, but I don't think it's by 9.5 points. I think Auburn actually shows up pretty well for this game. So it's like I was blown away when I saw that line.
I kind of tend to agree with you. One thing that I will say that I think could lend itself to Alabama blowing Auburn out. Number one, that's probably the nastiest rivalry in college football.
Yeah, I can't.
And I think
go to campus and kill trees for God's sakes.
Yeah, and I think that those guys want revenge, if for nothing else than just like straight up revenge. So they're gonna be fired up to the home field, like going into Tuscaloosa. That's gonna be a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? And 3, like Alabama's playing for a national championship berth, or a berth for the right to go play for a national championship.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I don't know. I don't see a Nick Saban team slowing down at home versus Auburn. You know what I mean? Like, and they're good. Sure, Auburn's good, but I just that's why I think
Alabama has working against them is Lane Kiffin, your ex-coach. So, I mean, obviously he's a better offensive coordinator than he is a head coach, but it's still Kiffin. That guy's terrible. So
I haven't really watched a lot of Alabama football this year. I'll be completely honest. But don't they have a quarterback there that like essentially doesn't make turnovers?
Yeah, kid's good.
I mean,
very good.
I don't know. I think that's cool. Like I think unlike USC where he had, and I don't want to take anything from the talent level at Alabama, But like at USC, Lane Kiffin worked an offense that had some of the most dynamic college players of the time. And I think now he's working for a team that has a shutdown defense. And his job is to make sure that those guys don't screw up. And, I think so far so good.
True.
Yeah, that's what I think about Alabama-Auburn.
I like it. I think it's going to be a good matchup. Saturday's going to be a lot of fun, guys. You should go to the Down and Out and watch all the games. I'll be there slinging drinks. Ozzy will be there slinging drinks. It's a good place to watch it. Anything else you want to touch on? Your Butler upset number.
We could give 30 seconds to the Butler Bulldogs. I think it's warranted.
I'll let you give some love to the Bulldogs for upsetting UNC.
Well, shit. I mean, Butler just beat the 5th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels, and anytime you beat North Carolina, that's a good day.
Sure.
And I mean, the Butler head coach Brandon Miller's been on a leave of absence since basically October, and Chris Holtman's got the team playing really well, and they play Oklahoma, and if Florida takes care of their business the next couple days, there could be a Florida Butler college basketball game Saturday afternoon or Friday afternoon that might be kind of fun.
There's a conspiracy happening right now. The Gators are playing right now, and I can't fucking watch them. And it's a big game. They're playing fucking Georgetown. Doesn't make any sense. Anyways, whatever. Yeah, there could be a Gator-Butler matchup, and if Butler wins that, I might just kick you out into Spring Street. I don't know. We'll see.
You say that all the time, dude.
Oh.
Keep in mind we're recording this. It could be evidence and motive now.
Well, I've said it, and so has about 700 other people in downtown LA. So I think I'm okay.
You guys shouldn't hate people in wheelchairs. It's fucked up.
Nah, we don't hate them. We just like messing with them.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. Anyways.
All right.
Thanks for.
You can have your fun.
We are Superior Fandom, the Nate and Joe Show. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook, SuperiorFandom.com, and our YouTube channel.